November 2014. On the opening day of Zentai Art Festival exhibition, Invisible Hall. This is a documentation of this Zentai work. I met people after the event and interviewed for their experiences and their opinions about the work and about the Zentai. It was colorful and beautiful experiences, meeting and listening to those stories.
Well, this is the foremost. This is the first time in Singapore. I guess it's fresh. Something is fresh, and this is very. That I don't think there's many Asian country will, Southeast Asian country will do. Well, when the first came out in the came out in the Facebook event, I got fascinated. Wow, this is something like I may like to contribute about, since this is uniquely Singapore. Uniquely Singapore. You can't find in Indonesia, you can't find in Malaysia, you can't find in Thailand. Well, Singapore is vibrant. Since Singapore arts is going to be acceptable, is opening up. So I guess Zentai should be open to the public, and slowly I guess there will be some public awareness, and then people will know that Zentai is actually an arts. It helps you to throw away myself for the rest of the day that I did. I've been working in the office from 9 to 5. Sometimes I have OT, I have meetings up to 9 p.m, 10 p.m. It's very tiring, but I would like to do something which de-stress myself out. So taking part in the work is actually throw myself away, that you don't really think about your work. You put on a Zentai suit, you just walk about. Look at people. People may not be looking at you, but this experience is you're more focused. You can see what people does, who are the one who looks at you. Another feeling. But if you were to dress in a normal office, like a blue collar or white collar office, any office personnel will dress up. I guess many Singaporeans will also face some stressful issue. They can't really distress themselves. The only way is to put on a Zentai suit. Okay, you have a split personality change. You forget about yourself because nobody knows you. You see, if your friends doesn't know about you, if your friends walk past you, it doesn't know about you. But but if you put on a normal working dress code, your colleagues will be recognizing you. So this is back to normal. Everybody will knows you. Your family members will knows you. Everybody will knows you because you are put on normal clothing. While Zentai is totally different. Conceal your mystery. That's how it's exciting about.
How about
Yeah, for me it was the first time that I was wearing Zentai in the street, not for a performance, but just walking with other people wearing Zentai, and I really liked it. It was fun, and the vision is different. You don't see that much, so you need also to rely on your essence, but also on other people, and you can use more the sense of touch. And I know that in Asia people don't like to be touched, so wearing Zentai it kind of breaks down this barrier. And I feel even the Singaporean, they become friendlier in a way and not as touchy. They don't mind that we hold hands or we touch each other because we don't see each other, we don't see the face. We need to rely on one another. So I think it does change the way I behave, but also the way the Singaporean behave. And during that work, it was positive. It was the change in a better way. It was also quite playful, and really not. Most of us, we are not taking ourselves seriously and just for fun, and so it was. It was nice.
I felt very naked at first because it's my first time wearing it. But after a while, it felt like, nobody really cares because no one knows who's who, you know? And yeah, it was like just fun, you know? After like when we got on the streets, it was like even better because like there was just the whole bunch of us together. The afterthought, I mean, when doing it, it was like really fun and new because my first time. But the afterthought, like, was that to me, it kind of meant quite a bit. You know, the idea that it's like we all should be like I always believe in that, like human, but yet we are like, I think the main problem with humans is human. We kind of like think too much. So for that short little time, it became like maybe we don't know who we or rather how we label ourselves, how we like when I like see you, then I like you are you and I know how you are, and then like I see him, maybe I have my own, like, because of how I'm brought up and all, I know how he's like, or my stereotype of how he is like, or how that person is like, from how he wear and everything and carry himself. But when you wear that, it's kind of like just you don't know, it became like everyone is kind of level ground kind of thing, which was that was like more on the high side, which I feel was awesome.
I think okay, there's two experiences. One is the anonymity, where people can't see who you are, so you suddenly have this sense of liberation, this sense of freedom that you can do whatever you want. You can do something silly, you can do something you won't normally do, that people don't normally expect you to do, and it's sort of normal because you're already wearing a suit. Like, how much sillier can it get? Yeah. The other thing I think is the fact that the suit covers your entire body. It creates this barrier between you and the outside world, and that for me it's a bit introspective lah. That I suddenly am more focused on my like who I am, what my thoughts are, and so on. It's a bit of it's a bit like meditation, but you're also walking around, talking to people. But at the same time, there's this barrier between you and the outside world that makes you a bit more focused on yourself. Yeah.
I felt it became like a comfortable shell for me, more of when I was doing it. I mean, I think the general feeling, rather than introspective, I think that only came like more on the high side. Became like, yeah, I feel more comfortable in it, actually, like in a cocoon, but not.
I'm a Singaporean, age 30 this year. I have always been intrigued by the look and feel of tight-fit latex and spandex wear. I chanced upon Zentai a couple of years back, and I was instantly hooked. For myself, Zentai is both a hobby and eroticism. I love the feeling of how it hugs the entire body. Sight is impaired by when I put on Zentai, and it gave me a deep sense of relaxation. It helps me to relax. Anonymous look intrigues me. I like the way a person looked in a suit, where all the features are hidden, such that only silhouette can be seen. I like the way it feels being enclosed in a suit. It gives me a sense of peace and relaxation, an avenue to escape from the everyday stress in our society. I feel great in a Zentai walk. The event gave me a chance to be myself in Zentai. As I'm in a group, it doesn't seem scary or weird anymore to be in Zentai in public. Perhaps I'm closet attention seeker. Being Zentai allows me to seek attention without recognizing me and passing judgment of me. I hope the public could be more understanding of Zentai and Zentai culture. I have not shared my interest with any other people. I'm not comfortable with them knowing my obsession and fetish. Zentai culture, it is somewhat like cosplay. We just enjoy wearing these costumes as well as the attentions and adrenaline rush they give. I felt Singapore is still a very conservative society. People here are generally still not acceptable in the Zentai subculture, unlike in the West. I would appeal to Singaporeans to be open to these subcultures that are emerging in Singapore. Be open to new things. I'm not asking for everyone to accept this subculture. At least try to understand it and be aware that there is such subculture. However, if you don't feel like it, you're still entitled to their own opinions.
I think Zentai work experience is different with if one person with Zentai go outside, they will think they are very different, they are special, they are without identity. Like I'm Liu Wencao, but if I wear Zentai, I go walking around City Hall. I was nobody, but I'm like a shadow. I can't do anything. But if I walking with another Zentai, I will feel I'm still myself, because another Zentai, they are wear Zentai, but you can recognize them from the body language. Yeah, so suddenly become normal. Before Zentai work, before I never wear Zentai, so that's my first time. So when I wear Zentai with another Zentai, before I think I will change, I will special, I will do something very special. But when I'm working with them, I feel I'm still myself. But when I'm working with another Zentai, I think they will know who am I, and something I cannot do already.
Like say for example in Hong Kong, right? Yellow umbrella. What if everybody wear like a yellow Zentai and walk in the street? At this moment, at this time, and sensitive. And if you put that Zentai walk in that situation, it's totally political, whether you like it or not, right? If you wear all yellow or something close to the color that they are using and all that.
People together, that's a political problem. So you can use Zentai to do something about political. But when you wear Zentai, but if you don't have this idea, like me, so my Zentai working will be not linked with, yeah. After you tell me, so I think if now, in the future, I will Zentai, I will think about it. But before, I don't know it.
Wearing a Zentai suit can be a means of expressing yourself without people knowing who you are. And once you put on a suit and you zip up, you're more conscious about what you yourself can see and cannot see. You stop wondering about whether people can see you or what they can see about you. You start wondering, hey, how am I going to react to the world around me first? I think it's a natural human nature. For example, blind people have more sensitive on the other things like feel, hearing, and things like that. And every other things that you're weak in, your other senses will have to compensate and make up for it. But when you put on Zentai, so your eyesight now is limited, obviously. To a certain extent, the hearing, but not so bad. So you have to readjust. So the way you perceive the world changes a bit. When a person wears a white suit, and it seems to be more pure, it's as if the outsider can look through the person, but the person within the suit himself, he is completely in a certain purity, I would say, because he has even less perception of his world around him. In a way, it's unadulterated, it's unspoiled. He's purely in him or herself. So that's one part of it. Whereas the person wearing the black, the outsider can't see anything about the features. It's very limited. It's like a black hole. It's like raising questions about life, about things, about just who, why, when, what. It's questions and questions of the questions, like a unknown. And then the person on the inside gets to see much more. It's like he is now in the dark and being able to see what's going on and observe the things around, while the outsider doesn't know what's going on. So I found it very interesting from a philosophical standpoint.
I find it very interesting because it makes me think about things in a different way, because I'm a very visual person. I need to see everything. So being a visual person means if you tell me your phone number, I won't remember it, but if you write it down, I see it, I remember it more than if you just tell me. So I'm just definitely more visual. So to take the whole visual out, then, besides my ear and my breathing, it's the thought process changes from thinking about the past, thinking about the future, thinking about later, becoming in the body more. Well, this is kind of nice. I don't have to interact with things that I see. It's easier to get quiet, to be contained. And I always say, why are we always, you're always preparing for something. You're always, okay, I have to prepare for this and things. But if you're wearing this, you can't do that somehow, because, okay, I can't see. So somehow everything that is on the outside, on the edges of your day, is not important somehow. And you become more inside your body and inside your experience and inside your life in a way, than if you're outside of, if I see. Seeing feels like you're always running around waiting for something, like anxious, I think is the word. But once you're in here, there's nothing to be anxious about. That's the connection with the visual, I think, for me. Because some people meditate to hear themselves, their inner voice or whatever it is, right? Or just to quiet the noisy brain thing. But I think with Zentai, you can actually get there, not faster, but just, I don't know, you're more quiet, maybe, than if I'm just gonna be closing my eyes right now, versus with this on. I am somehow more quiet because I have a layer in my head.
I enjoyed the walk. It was really casual. It was really relaxed. There were a lot of people who were walking together, and we couldn't see each other's faces, and it removed some of the conventions of social interaction. So I didn't feel a need to be extra nice, to go and introduce myself or to make small talk. If I didn't want to talk, I just didn't talk. And I think it was like this for the whole group, where people felt that since we were strangers to begin with, and since we still cannot see each other's faces, it's okay to remain strangers, more or less. So today's train ride was a 14-minute train ride from Kovan to Dhoby Ghaut. And in the museum, we were told that I cannot visit because it's a security risk for the museum cameras not to be able to see my face. So it's something like what I thought about before, that I am able to be deviant when I don't have my face, and I can do like bad things in society and nobody can hold me responsible. So that's why it's a security risk. So actually, that's what happens when you don't have a face.
Like, it can cause people to be afraid of you also, because you can be faceless and be a hero that does good things, and then nobody can credit you for it. On the other hand, you can be faceless and you can be a bad guy that does lots of bad things, and nobody can hold you accountable either. Yeah. In Challenger, it was a very positive experience for the people who worked there. When I first stepped into Challenger, the people who worked at the information desk were very happy to see me. They said, "Oh, so cute." So when they said that, I knew that, okay, we are going to have a safe trip in Challenger. And so so they didn't stop me. They didn't say like, "You're not allowed to be here, you are a security risk, what if you damage all our equipment, we won't know who you are." They didn't say that. They just said, "Oh, it's so cute." And so the very first people I met in Challenger, the first lady I met wanted to take a photo with me. Yeah. So, and then it continued like throughout the trip, because this Challenger store was huge, so we had to walk quite a bit, and I had to interact with several people to find the item that I wanted to buy. And throughout this trip, it was generally okay, but I also felt a bit strange. So after I bought the adapter, I was stopped by a Challenger staff who wanted to take a photo with me, and her friend also wanted to take a photo, and it felt a little bit like I was a celebrity for nothing. Like it didn't feel like I deserved this much attention, but that's just from my own point of view. But I think it's also fun for these people, and it's good that they have a positive reaction. Yeah. Basically in Challenger, when the girl wanted to take photo with me, she said, "Can I ask why you are doing this?" And I said, "Just for fun." And then she said, "I think you are so cool. I really I really look up to you." Something along those lines. Like she really admired, and I felt that it's kind of good to get this kind of positive attention, but I also felt sorry that it's like this, because I also feel that actually anyone can do this. I don't know why people feel they cannot. And maybe this is just variation amongst individuals, that there are people who feel they cannot and they admire people who can. But I just wish that everyone can, and that no one judges, because people who feel they cannot, they feel they cannot because they think other people judge. So
Or lose what they have.
yeah, they think they have something to lose by standing out from the crowd. And I'm reminded of these things when people come to you and say, "Oh, you are so brave," or you are so special.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I feel bad. I think some people just like to be different from others, and some people just like to be same as others, and that's fine.
Okay.
But then it is also interesting when someone who prefers to be same as others has like some kind of secret wish to be different, or someone, I think it's normal. So like there are probably people who are different from others and not by choice, who wish they could be the same as others. Even when I'm sure people feel that they are individuals and different, but they cannot express it because the norm is to be the same. And when you cannot express this for a long time, I guess you would develop a different kind of personality, and I think it's not very good, because I have been developing in the other direction. I have been actively just telling myself to just do whatever
yourself.
I want. Actually, I don't have to tell myself. It also feels quite normal, quite like, why would I not be myself? I'm not sure, but like in general, I feel that I don't care so much about the norms, and I have benefited from it. I feel like my life is so fun. There's so many adventures, and I learn a lot, whether it's positive or negative experiences. When I was leaving Challenger, when I said bye to the people who took photos with me, their colleagues were also very interested, and I got a few questions. I got asked whether I was from Singapore.
Yeah.
And then when I said I'm from Singapore, they shouted to their other friends, "She's Singaporean." Like it's a thing for people to want to know which country I'm from. This is currently a very normal thing in Singapore where everyone is trying to figure out everyone's nationality. I get asked a lot whether I'm from Singapore. So it's kind of expected, and it was fulfilled today. People would do that.
He was happy that you're from Singapore, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Like-
Like they think that it's just foreigners doing it because foreigners are already different because they are foreigners. Then when they realize it's one of us, they are like so proud that someone that is one of us can do something like this. Yeah.
So this was the documentation of the Zentai walk. For me, I pick up Zentai as people pick up guitar and practice to be good at it. Through this instrument, I see the world around me and inside me deeper and clear. I see the insight into my life with Zentai. Thank you for sharing time with me. Zentai Art